This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Only Friends podcast. Oh, I get the washed out shot today. So brutal.
Check.
That's because...
Yes, Melissa's back.
Who's back?
1, 2.
I don't like that.
The ASMR version of the episode, and you guys are forced to listen to it because we have headphones on.
I don't like this light on you. I don't like it.
I don't like that light on you.
Yeah, that's what
Or
I'm saying.
me.
Right. So
Burn it.
Yeah, so I think I should take it.
You're such a narcissist.
Yeah, he really
Hashtag
is.
delusional narcissist Berkey.
You look better. No, you look better.
I look dull. I look like you sprayed dust on me.
No. You look like your natural skin tone, whereas before you
do
looked
not.
orange. You looked orange with the light on.
I looked tan and beautiful.
For
Now
what
I'm
it-
dusty.
You look Donald Trump tan.
For what it's worth, Berkey needs all the help he can get.
I got to bring out these olive undertones.
He's such a narcissist. It's unbelievable.
Nice shirt, Berk.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You know,
Pickleball life.
pickleball for life, baby.
Go.
Let's get it popping. I had to take the day off yesterday. Couldn't do it.
No? Why?
You know, I'm coming to understand in my old age that I'm a competitive human being.
Really?
And I'm not very
Shocking.
good.
Breaking news.
Yeah. Breaking news. I'm not very good at the
Losing.
progression phase of anything, really.
You want to be instantly good at it?
Well, no, I can acknowledge that I'll never be masterful at anything. Like, I get it. There's plateaus and I'll hit
What
them
do you
all.
mean anything?
I'll
Could be something out there for you, crocheting.
no. I don't think that they're like, I think like very few people ever master anything. But with that said, the progression aspect I'm not good at. So like I've gotten progressively better at pickleball, like significantly so. But it doesn't matter because now the people that I'm better with than I don't want to play with ever. And the people that are better than me make me angry enough to break a paddle.
It doesn't motivate you like to see.
So you're stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
It doesn't motivate you to see where you came from.
No, not at all.
Wow.
Not even the slightest fucking bit. I have like in my head, I was never as bad as I actually was. Like I look at newbies starting out and I was like, I never played like that. These guys
So
are
it's your
fucking
ego.
terrible. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
Well,
know,
you are a narcissist, so.
Jesus. I did you a favor. You were looking very orange.
I like being orange.
You don't. I know you. Welcome back, Melissa.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
We couldn't do the show without you.
Yeah, I know. Every day. When are you coming back? You're out of the tournament. Spending time with my lovely friend.
Well, you were in the chat. We figured you may as well, jump on a call.
I know. I didn't have equipment though. I'd have to use my phone or something.
That would have been okay. Just turn it sideways. Turn that bitch sideways. What's that from? Shine it up real nice. Oh yeah, The Rock. Shout out to my man Andrew Novetsky. He said I'm paying down 0.0000015% of Conrad's tab. Yo, what is with this fucking Chins in the
That's
chat
like
too?
$10,000.
It is like $10,000.
Chin's only here because I'm here because he knows that I'll bring the tea.
I just want to know
Pot stirring.
what drives you guys to get into the chat and not fucking call in.
Because we like the chat better than you guys.
It's fine. Interact with them on your show.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought I needed
Christ.
like headphones and a mic.
It's helpful. But like if you did phone, it would probably be fine.
With AirPods in or
Yeah, with
something?
AirPods would
Yeah.
be totally fine. Christian was like, in the middle of a fucking construction site with no headphones and his computer reverbing.
Where is he right now?
What? Actually,
Are you
or
queuing
dude?
up the bit?
No, I think that bit is terrible. I think it's
I know, then why
so
would you just-
unfunny.
why
I'm
would
just
you-
genuinely
Why would you
curious where
tee
he
it up
is.
for Berkey right there?
Okay,
It's such a Jimmy Fallon bit, honestly.
First of all, everybody thinks it's hilarious
No one
because
does.
there's so much truth to it. Like it's not like it's that fabricated
That
of a
he's
bit.
in this, that CIA is capturing him or something. What is he?
Christian's dark side, okay? we all know this, and the fact that Dr. Mamacita is an informant who has, whisked him away to some foreign land.
Why is everyone asking why I'm in jail, or if I'm in jail?
I don't know.
Spread a rumor.
I don't think so.
That I was incarcerated.
No.
Everyone's saying I'm in jail.
Who said this?
Who said that? I didn't see it at all.
You spread a rumor.
What are you talking about?
People are saying to me on Twitter, "How long are you in jail for?"
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know.
Just now?
I just figured you guys said it on the pod at one point.
Wait, recently or like literally just now?
No, recently, like yesterday.
No clue.
What the hell does that mean? I'm not in jail. I've never been to jail in my life.
Yeah.
I thought you made a rumor, like another one of your own funny bits with CIA.
It's not the CIA. It's not the CIA. Okay.
CKY.
It's ICE. All right.
Oh.
They caught him at the border. Now he has to El Chapo his way back in.
That's okay. He'll just find a green card marriage.
I could definitely see. All jokes aside,
you could marry him.
No. Look, Christian's actually a legal immigrant into this nation, but all jokes aside, I could definitely see him.
He's born here. He's not.
No.
Yes, he was.
I thought he was an
No, he came when he was like 5.
No, Chin was born in the United States.
Sound off.
He can be president if he wants.
He said he came here when he was 5.
No.
Oh, they mean hustler jail for Mondays. Okay.
Are you sure of this?
I am like 95% sure of this.
Okay. I'd like to bet it.
Okay, do the bet now before Chin says.
No, because you know Chin better than I do.
Everyone wants to put their money where their mouth is.
I know. I would definitely like to bet this. But I could definitely see him marrying somebody to give them a green card.
Oh yeah.
Like,
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I could actually see him turning
goes
this.
to Thailand, comes back with a wife. That could definitely happen.
I legit could see him turning this into like a scalable business. Like Christian's just running this.
He has like a bunch of different houses that he's like living with them in for when they come to check.
Right,
and
yeah.
He just has like a whole row in a neighborhood.
Yeah, and like, maybe this is what it's all been building up to, like just giving the girlfriend experience, to really fool the government officials.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
he thinks that we could be government officials, and that's why he tries to fool us.
Yeah, this all makes sense now. He's left the chat.
Yep.
It just says Christian Soto has left the chat.
He was born here for citizenship, but his parents took him to the DR when he was 5. Until he was 5, and he got a fake birth certificate to get into kindergarten early.
Yeah, that's a wash.
No.
He lived in the DR until he was 5.
But that wasn't what the bet was. Was it the bet?
Sure he was born here too.
The argument was.
I was pretty sure he wasn't
here?
because he said he had a fake birth certificate.
I know he literally said like when he was here for like the one podcast, he said that he was born here. I remember him saying that. That's why I said it was 95% sure. I thought I maybe misheard him.
He's making it sound like he was like born on like on the go. Like they just had him on American soil to ensure that he got his citizenship, and then immediately shipped him right back to
I think
DR.
that's exactly what
I mean,
I think that is. It sounds like that's what happened.
exactly
He
what
said
it was.
snap. They took me back to the DR.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just like.
Remember, he said that he was here, and he said it was like, oh,
He was born on the go. He said.
He said, oh, they thought it was a good idea to have him. Thought that was probably a good idea to have him born in the United States.
Save him a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
I wasn't a citizen until I was 16. My brother still isn't because he was already too old when my mom got citizenship. So
How did it work for you?
she got citizenship when I was 16, and I just got
Just
absorbed
automatically?
yeah, because I was still a minor.
How? Oh, okay.
But it was like a whole like multi-year process of her. She was trying to learn the Pledge of Allegiance, and I had to teach her. It was terrible. I pledge of the allegiance to the United American flag. I'm just like, that's wrong. Mom, just say it exactly how I'm saying it.
That's the fucking test.
Yeah.
Can you say the Pledge of Allegiance
that's part of
coherently?
it. Yeah, it's part
There's
of
a lot
it.
of-
Somehow
yeah.
she
Like
passed though,
history.
and she could not say that. So
No, they quiz you on like a lot of civic stuff, right? Like what are the 3 branches of government,
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Sure. They just really want to make sure you're indoctrinated and loyal to the U.S. government. There are a lot of naturally born Americans who certainly would not pass this test.
God, no.
Maybe the majority.
I don't think
Maybe.
I would pass.
Well, you're not. You're a spy,
Yeah.
so to be expected.
Yeah. I'm a Japanese World War II spy.
Oh man. How was LA?
It was good, but I got car sick every time I went in a car there. I can't handle
brutal.
it. My tummy.
The stop and go, is that what it was?
I don't know what it is. Like, I just could not handle it. I was near puking the whole time because it would linger the rest of the day. But other than that, it was fine. I did the hosting stuff.
Yeah, how was that?
It was good.
We showed a clip of you undressing Garrett.
It was not I undressing. I was just okay. Here's the Platt gave me some tips, and he was like, "Well, when you ask questions, like you don't have to look at the camera, like just look at them." So I was just looking at him. While
No,
he was
the funny part is
answering.
you did a great job. You were literally just affirming him, like giving him head nods.
Yeah.
But the way you were kind of like exaggerating it.
It looks, yeah.
It looked like you were eyeing him up and down.
I was not eyeing him up and down.
We ran with it. What do you want us to do?
He does have great calves, though, I noticed.
You're telling me you weren't eyeing him up and down?
He was standing there, and I was walking in, and
I wasn't eyeing him up and down.
I saw the back of him, and his calves were very defined.
Great calves,
it's hard
nice
to ignore
chest,
that.
and beautiful eyes. But I wasn't eyeing him up and down.
I recognize a good muscled calf when I see it. It's not a sexual thing. He has nice calves.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope it's not. What are you going to do with a calf?
Lick it.
That's really about all you can do, I guess.
Oh, welcome back, Melissa.
Oh, someone said it could be from the air quality of the car sick. Maybe.
Oh, it has to be the stop and go. It's like reading in the car.
But here, like I can look at my phone in the car here, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But there, if I look at my phone for 1 second, I'll puke.
It's so smooth here. You're just like on the highway most of the time, but like there, it's literally.
And you're in the back seat, right? Like in an Uber, you're mostly talking.
And
about,
everywhere
right?
takes 40 minutes to get to. I mean, it's
every major city, everybody drives like they're out of their mind.
Yeah.
Like LA.
Yeah, but New York, I could look at my phone.
Well, that's because you're never moving.
Yeah, because you're mostly stopped. That's true. Yeah. But it was good. It was my first time there. I got some good food and stuff, and I went on a really weird, like, sort of date thing. I just
Tell us more.
like, I just have like really bad luck right now.
Yeah, just bad luck.
It's just bad luck, man. Well, like, it was fine. I thought he was nice, and then halfway through, he invited someone he was hooking up with. So
what?
You know?
I mean, maybe he thought he could work it out.
It was so awkward. It wasn't a one-on-one thing. It was 4 of us, so it was like a group thing. But he's like, my friend's coming, and I was like, oh, it's a girl. Like, I could just tell the way he said it. And then she shows up, and she's like hanging all over him, and I'm like, what's going on? This is so weird.
What, was he made aware that this was a date thing?
Yeah, he was texting our mutual friend set us up, and he was texting her all week saying, I love your friend, please set me up with her. And she's like, okay, tonight. But he thought that he had like screwed it up or something, and I wasn't into him, so he invited someone else on the date.
Wow, respect to that man. Respect to that man. He is not a time waster. He's just like, well, this is going poorly, let me get my sure thing here.
Yeah, and then she talked to him, and he was like, oh shit, I didn't know, like I shouldn't have done that.
That was a new introduction to
So
showers.
you're in love now?
No.
I mean, what do you mean? This is the recipe right here.
Yeah, maybe I'm growing, because that was so weird. I was like, you are really insecure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm astonished.
Yeah, I know. I'm evolving.
Good for you.
Good job, Melissa.
Yeah.
Celibacy does things to you. Like make you really angry.
So you got was that your first 5K? Biggest event you've ever played?
Well, I played the main.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
It's so weird that I don't qualify the main.
Yeah, I know.
Because everyone plays the main.
I know,
right?
because everyone plays it. But
it's also just a glorified 1K.
Yeah.
Like field-wise.
Well, I played like my first 5K, I guess, was like the cage, the ACR thing. That's
Is that really a tournament, though?
But
Like-
it's like cash game tournament
it's like hybrid.
But yeah, I think it was. I think so.
How'd you do in that?
Bad. No, it wasn't. I don't feel like I played bad at all. I just was not getting any spots, and then the one I did, I 4-bet jammed ace 5 suited under the gun versus cut off, which we found out was correct.
Machine said it was correct.
Yeah. It didn't feel great. And then he flopped a set and turned a boat. So I was out.
Yeah. As tends to happen.
What are you going to do? It's just another tournament.
Nice that you free rolled it at least.
Yeah, the satellite was funny where
so.
I saw the video you posted where it was 4,800 for
but I was wrong because it's actually 5,250 buy-in. So I should have still been going for the ticket. I mean, I should have gone for it anyway.
I mean, it's worth.
I just kind of wanted the cash so I could hang out with Nicole.
Yeah.
Sure.
And like
everybody wanted the cash, right? Didn't everyone just go all in?
Yeah, but we actually all had hands. Like,
I know, yeah.
It was weird. Like kings, ace, jack, king, queen.
Recipe for an end of a satellite.
Yeah, and it was so slow. It was like 10 and then down to 6 really fast and then 6 forever, like 2 hours.
Why I can't do it. We also got to make your debut on Max Payne Monday. How did that go?
No,
Yo, you just got fucking showered this weekend.
Bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I did actually on all fronts. Cash. I got showered from that game. They told me, "Oh, there's plenty of action in the public games." Okay, point taken. Point taken. And then the tournament, I got showered, and then that date thing, I got showered.
Yeah, I mean,
the things are only can go up.
Right. Things are looking good in the
I mean,
P-Dog
you came
stable.
back clean. You've been showered so much.
I'm showered. I've been showered
crystal
3
clean.
times. Like I'm clean. Yeah.
There's plenty of action in the
I know.
on the floor games is the equivalent of
Fuck you.
I'm hooking up with someone else.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah, that's great.
I just I don't see this going anywhere. I'm sorry, kiddo.
Yeah. Big go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Are you ever going back to LA?
Yeah, I'm just at some point, but I don't. It's they just get showered there constantly. The weather's perfect when I'm taking showers all weekend.
They had an
Sometimes you have to
opportunity.
get showered.
If you had worked your way in there, it would have been almost
all
women.
I know.
It was quite the entertainment.
Yeah.
Schwan absolutely bulldozed the table. Just massive VPIP, massive win. What'd she win? 17,000-ish? Is that right? Hold on.
Yeah, 17K.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
There's the VPIP. Wow.
Yeah, so she was just under 50%, which is pretty strong. She tweeted that she wished she had played more hands, or wished she had gotten to play more hands.
We talked to her beforehand. We saw her at the brewery at the bike, and she was like, "I just want to play a lot of hands."
Yeah, she seems to have accomplished that.
She definitely did that. Yeah. But she also wrecked fucking everyone. It looks like.
Yeah, won 17,000. She had the highest raise first in percentage. So that I think is important we always talk about the VPIPs and like how they're low or whatever, but what I don't think people understand is that like you can up your VPIP a ton without giving up that much EV just by calling in spots where you're pretty confident you're not going to get shut out, like flicking it in on the button in situations where it's like not going to get squeezed through all that often is a good way to just play a lot more hands. But no, she was in there.
Yeah, I didn't really watch because I was flying, but I saw one hand where she had like queen 2 suited and bluffed Hillary. She triple barreled and then overbet the river and bluffed her off top pair.
Yeah, just the old Israeli Ron hand out there. You have to little homage to the OG.
And then she let her pick one, but then she picked the 2.
Nice.
And it was totally like there's just no way she could have had it, but she kept saying, "I had it."
Why?
I don't know.
Why? I feel like that's such a maternal thing to do. Just it
felt very maternal.
Yeah, you're just trying to like ease the mind of the other person.
I had it, but she looked at the deuce and it was just there's no way she could have had it. Yeah, because even if she had ace deuce, like she was out kicked. So.
Yeah. Well, she probably didn't think she got her to full top pair either.
Right.
Which
no, she showed it when she folded.
Oh, maybe she was just trolling. Then.
Yeah.
Good fold. I had it. Nice lay down. But yeah, that shows back.
Oh, she picked the queen. Oh, I thought she picked the deuce. Okay.
That makes a little bit more sense. So Max Payne Monday's back in full effect after quite the week. You would think there would be a little bit of a hangover this week. Their numbers were pretty strong as usual. DGAF kind of went off. Very unlucky for him. He seems to have lost the majority of it.
Beat Pippin 67%.
Man after my own heart.
Yeah.
I understand. Trust me, I understand.
Yep.
It's hard to fold whenever you're stuck 15,000 in a 25-50 game or the equivalent thereof.
I mean, as soon as you fold, you lose the hand. So that's
right,
poker 101.
exactly. Bro, how is your pre-flop raise percentage ever 9? 9.
How is it 3?
3. Oh yeah, I didn't even see it. Was that Margo?
25-3.
Who was 3?
3.
Margo.
25-3. We've got 38-7. 29. I mean, just never give that.
I mean, you
can
can be dealt out like for a session. It happens.
Well, right, but like, so you VPIP 20% of hands. That's already low, obviously, especially in a game that like effectively has antes. Or does it have ante? What do they play? 10-20 or 10-20-20?
It's just 10-20.
Okay. Either way,
I don't know. Maybe it's ante.
Whether there's antes or straddles or whatever, there's a lot of incentive. Also, the fact that it's multi-way, there's a lot of incentive to play hands. So only playing 20% in and of itself is like relatively low, just because you're defending the blinds at such a high frequency. Yada yada yada. But then to only find 9% of opens.
Yeah.
Under the gun, 9. Under the gun 9 opens at a 14% frequency in a rake game.
Right.
Yeah.
You're playing time against like people who are like VPing 67%.
Right.
It's so hard to only open 9% of hands.
You have to be folding good hands.
Yeah, you have to like fold broadways in middle position and shit.
Yeah.
And like
King 10.
Yeah. Oh my god, it hurts. It hurts so bad. But honestly, like it's weird, like because we joke it, like we make a joke of it. But it really does create the interesting dynamic that we get to watch. If everybody was VPIPing correctly and, opening pre-flop correctly and not playing passively and stuff like that, then you wouldn't get these very strange multi-way deep stack post-flop scenarios where, weird spots kind of present themselves.
Also, shut the fuck up about my double chins. I know I have double chin.
The showers continue.
It never ends.
It's the trade-off for growing the peach. Right?
I know. I have to gain weight.
Yeah.
It goes on my chin. You should see when I really bring it out. I'm not gonna. You guys can see that behind a paywall.
It's not even.
Put it on Patreon.
It's not even an actual double chin.
Only chins.
It's not even a double chin. It's not like it's actually.
No, I genetically have a double chin.
You just sit there. Or
well, no, but yeah, it's genetic. My family, everyone in my family has it.
You are in chin seat, so.
Yeah, this is only chins. Motherfuckers. I really have a double chin because I'm reading your chat, so I'm just not going to read you anymore.
Ooh, showers.
Ooh, showers to you.
Oh my god.
That's where it all turns around.
Yeah, I wanted to play that game.
We wanted you to play that game.
I know. Chin's like, Max. Yeah.
You wouldn't have found it awkward?
Yeah, I would have.
Wow, perfect. Lean in.
But I mean, it's good for content.
That's true.
I'm here for, help.
Yeah, that is true. I will say, for better or for worse, it is entertaining the way that Sashimi goes hard at people in spite of the fact that she plays no hands. There was a point, I can't remember who it was, but somebody had lost a couple big pots and was, buried.
Yeah.
And she just looks and she goes, I thought you had 20K.
I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Just sending the needles all over the place.
Actually, I've heard a couple, I don't know, whatever. Maybe I'll get on there someday.
It'll be a good spot.
See.
One of these days we'll all make our way to...
I know, I have heard of Kybella, Russell. I want to get it, but it turns you into a bullfrog in your chin.
What?
So I'll be on the podcast like, whoa. They inject something into your chin to dissolve the fat, and then but it swells up a lot first.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just get like chin implants. Really.
No, I don't want to be Jay Leno.
Get that strong jaw,
No.
Power.
You're sabotaging me.
I would never. How dare you? A couple other news and notes from yesterday that I think are worth discussing. We'll pick up, I guess, from the conversation we were having yesterday. So ACR fucked up again. They made it a whole 3 hours post pod.
No, Nagy goes to Cyprus and just the whole site falls apart, huh?
Jesus Christ! Like,
what's he running it himself?
no way.
He's over there like. Doo-doo.
The thing is that like I have some knowledge as to how these structures and stuff come to be, but I don't understand. I mean, I guess, all right, like, I get it. I understand how something like this could sneak through. I don't understand how there wasn't a way to, like, fix it in real time, like, pause the tournament or whatever.
I mean, didn't it only happen for one?
Yeah, for one level. So what ended up happening was there was a level where it was supposed to be 90K ante, and instead it was 900K ante.
And it was the whole level ran that way?
Yeah. Which is just, like, completely impossible. You can see here that there's, 13 big blinds in the middle?
Yeah.
So 12, it's 12 big blind ante, basically, which just absolutely fucks everything. You're like short stack now as, a 50 big blind stack or whatever. Like everybody just kind of has to play all in. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to this. They, as Guapo showed, they put out a statement saying that anybody who was affected during that level, please stay tuned for an email. And we'll try to figure out how to compensate the issue accordingly. So this, again, I think it's good that they at least tweeted it, right?
Is it as simple as like a typo when they're like putting in when they're like coding it, or I don't know how that works, how they make the structures, but there must be a program or something where they put in the structure in and someone just accidentally clicked an extra zero.
It's data entry.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that hasn't like happened before.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's probably some instances of it.
Seems like an easy mistake.
Yeah. But I would think that they would, a site as big as ACR, I would think that they would have some sort of like algorithm to comb over the structure and make sure that like ante is never greater than big blind.
Right.
For instance.
Yeah.
It just seems like it would be like autofill almost. Like, or I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously it happened. So
Henry said it happened on Stars before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to what their compensation was.
And is this like a brand new structure? Like they never used the structure before? Because if they used the structure before, then it would have.
Well, it just depends, right? Like they might have 10 templates for the same event, and the structure basically grows based upon how many people are in it, right? So this may have just gotten a bigger field than the structure that didn't include this level. Right.
Gotcha. Right.
So like the tournament might just end prior to this level in other instances, so we never saw it actually come to be.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean it's an annoyance, but it has to it doesn't have to happen, but like it's not that shocking that it happens because no matter what you
bad timing for ACR.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I take it back. I was just about to say no matter what, there's no way that the original structure isn't created through data entry points. But that's not true because you actually could just create a formulaic approach where the big blind ante
is always the percentage.
It's not big blind ante, but you could just always set it up.
A percentage of
correct,
the big
correct.
blind is.
Where it's just autofill of a formula.
That's what I thought.
People in the chat are talking about how Rampage has been very vocal about ECR being
well, he's not doing well on there.
Yeah.
I have to tell you. I don't know that it's proof that there's anything.
No.
It doesn't. I mean, losing, what did he lose? 70 buy-ins, 60 buy-ins, something like that? 60 buy-ins, right?
700.
Or sorry. It's 600, right? It was like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, somewhere between 600 and 700. That's a lot, of course. But I don't think it's like an outlier event. I don't know well enough. But
it's a significantly tougher site than what he's used to playing, and if he's not changed his ABI to adjust for that, then he's gonna lose. Yeah,
it's not the losing part. It's more so like, is it reasonable to lose 700 straight buy-ins? And is that too many standard deviations away from the middle of the bell curve to qualify as an outlier event? I don't know the numbers.
Couldn't it just
well
be
enough.
that he's not beating the stakes he's playing?
Yeah, but like you can not be beating him and still not go on a downswing that hard over that period of time.
Yeah.
But like Landon basically was saying that it's pretty common to go on a 200 to 300 buy and downswing. So I don't think this is enough standard deviations away to qualify it as like, oh, clearly something outlandish
Yeah, it's also
is
only
happening.
700 games, which for online is like not that much.
Right.
So.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm ultimately getting at. But maybe he's onto something. Maybe he's the one who cracks the case and blows this whole fucking thing wide open.
Maybe.
Suddenly, Rampage disappears. He's on an island somewhere with Christian, being interrogated by Nagy.
By the dark side.
Yeah, they're just in Costa Rica.
He's just getting groped.
What? Because now his taste changed?
Yeah. Maybe.
He likes boy vloggers.
I don't know. Maybe they're.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
who
what
knows?
I'm not gonna yuck his yum.
That's fair.
As long as it's
fair.
consensual.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. I'm kind of biting my tongue to see what the compensation is. And if there's a precedent already set with this with Stars, it would be nice to know what they did.
I think it was different. It was like a 215 tournament, and like 7 people were registered.
Oh.
Or something completely different.
Okay.
There's no precedent, really. It seems.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I suggested yesterday that they should pause the tournament. Obviously, they plan to play it down. So if they do plan to play it down, I don't know how you compensate for the people that were affected other than come out of pocket. And if they offer ICM to the people that busted during that level, it's going to be a lot of out-of-pocket money.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that I would imagine...
Isn't everybody affected that was in the tournament?
Yes, just not the same.
Yeah.
Some positively, some negatively.
I guess,
people were paying up
So if like you
stacks in
win
that
the
time.
tournament...
Well, the people who are affected positively are still in, so they get all the benefit. Like, they probably lost half the field that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least. I don't know how many people were left.
Think
but
about having a 20 big blind stack like at that time, and you're fucking under the guy. You know it's about to be a 12 big blind ante.
Well, it's just variance.
Wait, is it? It's a big blind ante?
No, it's not a 12 big blind ante.
Oh,
No, it's regular.
It was
it's
like
a regular ante, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
sorry.
still.
Yeah, it was basically
But
equivalent
a whole
to
level.
Yeah.
right.
So.
It was equivalent to like 1.1 big blinds
Gotcha,
per person,
understood.
or a little bit less, like 1.025 or something like that. Anyway,
This is where Dan Harrington comes in. You're looking at M. See, if you knew and understand the M theory,
Facts.
you're just going to be crushing it.
That's big facts. He's not wrong. What what is going on
I don't know
over
what that
there?
was.
What's up?
Wapo's on one, man. For what it's worth, we hear a bad echo because your headphones aren't on. I don't know.
Sorry, that was Andre. Love in the WhatsApp.
Oh, Andre, we
Shout
said
out
hi.
to Andre.
So yeah, I don't really have a lot more to say on the ACR stuff. I do want to talk a little bit about this Espen stuff. Mainly just to kind of clear the air, at least from my point of view. So for anybody who's not aware, basically Espen made a post yesterday saying that he had how did this actually come to be? Okay, so basically Alex and he had been exchanging text messages where Alex was of the impression that they had a 3% swap on and Espen had no record of it.
Mm-hmm.
Alex started rooting him on,
neither
sending him
had
text and
record.
saying, go, good. And then he said, you're going to save my summer. And then he's probably like, wait, what?
Yeah. So Alex kind of responded to it all. He said he sent, or just to confirm this, he wanted to clarify that like he didn't actually send anybody to threaten Espen or anything along those lines, and that the recollection of what occurred was pretty much accurate. He did have a couple clarifications that he wanted to point to, but the general consensus was that as Espen got deeper into the main event, they were exchanging more messages, and then once it had culminated, Alex was basically just like, I can't believe we have a 3% swap, yada yada yada, and Espen's kind
He
of
said, I don't know how you can sleep with yourself or something.
well, that's jumping ahead, right?
Oh, I thought you were talking about at the end.
No. So they were basically just exchanging messages. Let me see if I can pull up the screenshots because those are probably pretty relevant at this point. It's a dense one. But yeah, if you just click those links, those actually have the text.
So they kind of have this thing. He's sending him messages. Obviously, Espen's playing and not really responding to stuff, but he says, I didn't think we had a swap. And then it goes from there. They talked in person. Alex kind of just decided to stop trying to get the 300K because there was no record of it. And then it resurfaced because this drunk person told Espen to pay Alex 3%.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure. Everything that I saw in the DMs was basically just like, it seemed like Alex was still pursuing payment. Yeah,
but then Alex's explanation said that this all happened like a month ago and then just came back up.
Right. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So effectively, like from what I can tell, the last screenshot was them agreeing to meet in person, and then Espen following that back up with a fourth screenshot where he said, "Hey, I finally had a bit of time to let things sink in and think. Given that I have no recollection of us swapping, and you also don't remember when or where this happened, it's pretty clear to me that there's no swap in place. Every time I've ever swapped verbally, I wrote it down in chat and plus my own documentation. I have neither of those things for you. I certainly wouldn't have done this with you since we have never really swapped anything previously. I know this feels shitty for you since you thought we had a swap, but I don't really know what else to tell you."
They didn't know each other either. They met like twice.
Right. Yeah, like these details aren't super important, but they're relevant because like they didn't have a past history in place that would indicate that this is kind of auto. This happens with me and Chin all the time.
Yeah,
right.
Where like we'll have a swap for something and then it not be on, or sorry, us not really confirm that it's on moving forward. Like he might buy a piece of me in a live stream cash game or whatever, and then I get to play that same live stream again a week later, and we haven't discussed it. I just defer to it being auto on, and so does he because we have a past history.
You have that history, right? When you don't have the history, it's hard to just
go by. Well, also the fact that
verbal.
Espen seems like he was pretty meticulous and like writing all of his swaps down and stuff, and he just seems like it's sort of like maybe it was said casually or maybe he's misremembered. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think he was trying to, because this is someone who's been in the high stakes community for a long time.
Yeah,
he's he's a run it once coach. Like he wouldn't, I don't think he would try and ruin his reputation over.
No, of course. I think like at the end of the day, what's abundantly clear to me is that whether there was actually ever any discussion of a swap or not, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Nothing really matters without like hard confirmation from one of them. And I think like maybe there's a more debatable point here if Alex had like clear recollection of having done it and Espen just needing his memory jogged or something like that. But that's not what's taking place here, right? Like this is literally just somewhere along the line, Alex had convinced himself that they had made the swap. And again, I don't think this was, I agree with Melissa. Like, I don't think he was doing this as like an angle of like, oh yeah, like, I could, because had he done that, he would have had a stronger story.
Yeah, of course.
For like when they swapped.
It also just wouldn't be worth it. Like, trying to get 300K here when he has a good reputation in the community.
Yeah, but it's also like a proverbial free roll, right? Like if he puts together a really strong story of when they swapped and like, can basically take it to ARB where he has a very strong case, even if he doesn't win it, it's still just like a free roll to win it.
Right.
But that's clearly not what's happening here. He's only weakening his side with every single message. And it seems like it's just a genuine misunderstanding, which I think is, that shit's just going to happen. And I understand why Espen wanted to go public with it, because it's one of those things where like once the rumor mill starts flying and once there's a lot of kind of like undertones within the community of him potentially having scummed somebody or whatever, that gets amplified.
Right. And then you have some random drunk guy come up to you while you're playing and saying you need to pay him. And it's just like, I mean, that's, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah. I think it's unfortunate for both of them, but I do think that this was very important that it played out publicly. Obviously, if neither of these guys are known names in the community, then this absolutely should just be a private matter that's handled accordingly.
Right.
But the fact that they both have like he's
the main event winner.
Yeah, they both have outstanding reputations.
Right.
this is something where neither one of them should walk away with a black eye to their rep based off of this. It's really critical that this plays out publicly, I think.
And I think all the facts that are out there after the poker community has viewed them, I think the consensus is that there's no swap.
I haven't seen a single person say there's a swap.
I literally not one person. Yeah.
And I'm sure Espen was aware of that whenever he posted, of just like, there's no arbitrator in the world who would ever see this the other way.
Alex,
right. So yeah, it's just about getting like the truth out there, getting the details out there. I think that it was handled reasonably well. Twitter is going to do what Twitter does.
Yeah.
Of course.
There's some dragging, there's some accusations that will take place, probably unnecessarily. So not enough benefit of the doubt was probably given to Alex.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I sort of fell into that, but then I saw his messages. Yeah, and just sort of like the thing that made me sus was his last message, that felt a little bit like,
oh, super emotional.
Yeah, but then I sort of saw his side of it and how he was genuinely just like emotional because he thought he had a swap and like didn't.
Yeah. You feel like you just lost out on $300K.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I understand it from both perspectives, but it's just like calling a spade. There's just absolutely no way in hell a dollar should be exchanged between these two, and I don't even think it's reasonable that at any point Alex, like at any point beyond, I don't remember when we swapped or what was said, but it was definitely 3%, and we had it in place. Yeah. Like beyond that, like once that gets vocalized, you have to just kind of think to yourself of like, I'm drawing dead here. I'm standing on like literally thin ice that's about to break. And I think a good way of looking at this, Rabbit Child kind of pointed out, is like we should make sure that nobody's getting negatively free rolled. So if we put this into the reverse situation where Alex had won the main event, would he have just, without any question, paid out Espen? And like maybe the answer is yes, but it's impossible to answer, right? Because like, maybe he doesn't have that vivid memory of having swapped if he's on the other side of it, right? It's easy to remember those things. It's also like a cognitive bias too, where you're just having a lot of loose conversations with peers and professionals, and like you do remember swapping 3% here and there with some of them, and it seems like Alex was like pretty loose with it, where he wasn't writing a lot of shit down. It's pretty easy to convince yourself that you had done something you intended to do that maybe never actually occurred. Like I intended to swap with Espen too, but I just never sent the text. I never asked. I never, I didn't think the guy could win 2 bracelets in a summer.
Judgment.
I really just didn't want to get showered.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like 1 ball and have him be like, no. No, not feeling it, man. I'm feeling pretty lucky. I'm going to keep that extra piece this summer. But yeah, I mean, I hope that this conversation dies now, because it's kind of a non-event.
Yep. Move on.
And hopefully Alex doesn't get dragged. Much because of it.
He makes good training videos.
I haven't seen them, but I've heard good things.
Yeah.
And Espen said, he's like, I don't think he's malicious in any way.
Right. Yeah, he did a good job of, I think, portraying the facts and keeping the details streamlined, let's say. Not inserting emotion into it. Did you guys hear Nick Vertucci did a podcast?
Yeah. I heard something about that.
Yeah, he had a guest on.
# delusional Berkey. I'm here for it. Great
of course
one.
You are.
It has a real ring to it,
Delusional Berkey, yeah.
Delusional Berkey.
I have to tell you, you make fun of me for being old all the time.
I know.
But I can't think of anything more boomerish.
It's so,
than including hashtags in your vernacular. Like, I know what's really going to fucking get Berkey.
And he was saying Doug, fake news Polk, and delusional Berkey.
Look. I think Phil
props for trying.
I think Phil should run for office. That was the most Trump-like speech I've ever seen.
He just took Trump's playbook and ran with it, like giving people these nicknames and skewing the facts. And
what do you mean skewing the facts?
Well,
how dare you, sir?
I mean, he just says things like 99% of the world thinks he's the best poker player.
Well,
can you find 1%?
I mean, maybe I can't. I don't know.
Hey, and I quote, I'm like Michael Jordan, and Tiger Woods.
And I know them.
And I'm friends with
And
them.
I'm friends
Wow.
with them. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
strong.
If that's your company that you keep, then of course the entire world knows who you are.
Right.
You're beloved.
It's right. Like, yes, he might be the most well-known poker player in the world, but that doesn't make him the best.
Well, Twitter would say otherwise.
I mean, we just have this argument so much, and I just think.
No.
This is
Usually
exactly what he wants.
we talk about how much he stinks.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is about his actual ego.
there are things, right? Like, he is probably the best World Series poker player, like tournament player that's been around, right? He has the bracelets to prove it, right? If you want to say large field, no limit hold'em World Series events, yes, Phil, you are probably the best. But then when you extrapolate it out to cash games and high stakes and all these things, he's just twisting the stats around to make it sound, I won 30 games in a row. That makes me the best. No, it doesn't. Right? I won 1.7 million in high stakes tournaments. Well, what does that mean? What is your ROI? How many of you played? Like, what was the average buy-in? Like, just throwing out 1.7 million, did you get, anybody can win one tournament. You're in high stakes. You won 1.1 million in one tournament.
It's true.
You're the best.
It's true.
No.
I've played
You know
like
who also was there?
Who?
Hellmuth.
Phil was there. Yeah.
It's true.
He actually was there.
It's true. He got fourth.
Yeah, he did better than you.
He did. Yeah, I've probably played like I don't know, 400,000, maybe 500,000 worth of high rollers in my career.
Mm-hmm.
Cash for 1.4.
Yeah.
So I'm the best.
Yeah.
My ROI is 300%, bro. I'm sick.
Right.
Fucking the bet. David Peters, move over. You don't have 300% ROI. I do. What are we talking about,
I know.
man?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
This guy,
Right.
honestly, I said this.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
No, go ahead.
he is very accomplished and very good at certain things. Why doesn't he just lean into that and say, "This is what I'm good. Like, I am the best." But no, he has to say that he's the best at cash games and the high rollers.
No,
And
he is. He is leading into what he's best at, and that's
Talking shit.
that's literally what he's best at.
right. But
No, that's true.
If he was just like, "I'm the best World Series of poker player all time," and then left it at that, then everyone would be like, "Yeah."
Well, here's
of course
here's
you
a novel idea. Just don't puff your chest,
are.
man.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like, whatever. Like, I think I'm good at poker
No,
too.
but that's part of his thing, so it's like whatever.
Okay, yeah, you can have a shtick, but
Yeah.
then you're gonna take fire for it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, whatever. I think I'm very good at poker too. I don't run around trying, the issue is not that he proclaims himself to be as good as he does, because obviously that's it's so hilarious that he calls me delusional. Like, that's the delusions of grandeur if you've ever seen it. But it's what that statement actually implies, right? It's reducing the accomplishments of everybody who's so much more proven. Like, taking the guys in the top 10 all-time money list and then him saying he's the greatest tournament player of all time. It's just like, how on earth do you arrive at that?
Yeah.
Like, how are you better than the Ivies and the Negreanus and the Dan Smiths and, the Bonimos and, even Bryn Kenny, whatever. Like, how are you better than these guys?
Rast.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, he took issue with Rast in the thing where he's just like, how can this guy call into question my skill? It's like, well, because he's significantly better. Right? And it's just like, it's not even a dick measuring contest. It's not meant to be a comparison. It's just an understanding that, like, the concept of peers means that you're amongst a group of people where there is a hierarchy, but it's not well defined, right? Like, we don't know who the best player is, and we never will, because the environment's always changing. There will always be the best of an era. And Phil certainly was the best of eras. It was wild to hear him reference the 80s and 90s during that interview. Like, in 1990, I was playing this cash game, and it's like, bro, that was 30
years,
fucking years ago, man. And it's like, I get it. You've made it. Like, you've lasted, and we would happily all put respect on your name for the longevity and for doing what you've done. The same way we do with Negreanu and
Yeah.
There is a ton of things to praise Phil Hellmuth about. but it's like
not the things that he praises himself.
Correct.
Right. There's tons
Like
of
the
things,
longevity
right?
is
Yes.
a success. Like
Yes.
that is very impressive.
Overall, he's been so good for the game, and
Yeah.
and you know, like he's done wonders for poker, and he is one of the best at tournament, some like World Series
Yeah.
events.
You're
and he
just
has-
not the end boss anymore.
right.
You know.
Right. Well, like, why is it so important in a subjective arena to have people actually qualifying you as something that you're not? Right. Like, and yeah, I get it. Like, younger me wanted that too. Like, there were times in my 20s and early 30s where like I was on the come up and I hadn't felt like I had gotten my just dues yet, and I wasn't getting into certain spots, and you know, my bankroll had like outgrown what I felt my skill set was, and I was just like desperate to prove myself in all these arenas. And it was kind of like this, I'm the fucking best. Why doesn't anybody else know that, right? And then that quickly goes away because the game finds a way of humbling you, and you run into somebody that is doing shit that like you don't fully understand. And emotionally, you're just like, this guy stinks. And then, you know, logically, after spending some time with it, it's like, no, this guy thinks is what it comes down to.
That's Phil's whole thing. He's doing things that nobody you guys don't understand.
Yeah, and
which he might be doing some
Right.
things that like. I mean, that might be some truth to
there's
that.
a lot of unquantifiable unknowns,
Yeah.
especially in tournament poker. But he's objectively doing some things that are certifiably bad, and he's comfortable with that, and that's fine. Do you, man? Just don't tell us about it. Like, don't prop yourself up. And I get it. You're right. It's part of the shtick. It's what gets him on the Tim Ferriss show. It's what gets him on No Jumper. You know, he becomes a draw because of this wild ego. But I tweeted this yesterday. It's like, at no point in time do I ever attack the character of Hellmuth. I think that he is genuinely a good person.
Right.
I just can't let his ego run as rampant as it does. And, you know, as much as I agree with some of the points that he and Nick were making about Doug's tactical approach to things like this, where he is embellishing a lot and a little over the top with the headlines and the making non-story stories type of behavior, where I push back on them is this notion that you can be so goddamn narcissistic and so goddamn sensitive at the same time, right? It's just like, you should be, honestly, Hellmuth should be thanking Doug. And even us, it's like we keep him relevant in a state of poker where he lacks it.
Well, Joey just said, he's like, Hellmuth's the best at getting people to talk about it.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing right now? And last episode and
Well, I mean,
before
to
that.
be fair,
He is
we're
right-
not swimming in content right now.
Yeah, he is. He's right. He was right about one thing. He said when we talk about him, our numbers go up, which we got. I mean, we're approaching 1,000 people watching right now, so maybe he's right about that.
Well, yeah,
Can we
I think
get all 972 people to hit that like button?
My man, the tortoise, comes hits with it.
Just smash that like button right
Smash the
now.
like
if you're
button.
liking what you're hearing.
he actually doesn't move the needle as much as he believes, at least not in this streaming age. Like, looking back at our most viewed content, none of the Hellmuth stuff is in it.
Right.
Yeah, it's all about the stream games.
It's the stream games, it's the controversy, but like today we'll get a lot of clicks because it's a reaction video.
Right. Yeah.
Right, we're talking specifically to him, messaging to. We're basically communicating through these channels rather than having a real sit down.
I mean, is this
Should we have
ever
Phil on
gonna
the show?
lead to culminate in a heads up?
That's all I want.
I mean,
That's all I
ever?
want. Like, honestly, like, if I'm being completely transparent, the only reason I ever even talk about Phil is because I think his ego is so goddamn big that he'll someday play.
It seems like he's throwing the gauntlet down. Maybe it's all leading up to
No, it's
something.
such bullshit. There were people in my mentions saying like, "Oh, these guys will talk so much shit on you, Phil, but they'll never sit down with you." It's like, bro, do you have any idea the line I've been waiting in to sit with this guy?
Yeah, but it would just be so tedious.
Yeah. I've played with him before on Poker After Dark, and he literally had like 2,700 in front of him playing 200, 400.
Yeah.
And we were all so angry. The lineup was so insane. It was like me, Perkins, Dan Shack, Hellmuth, and one other. And he's just sitting there with literally like 11 big blinds, disrupting the whole game. It's like, okay, man, like...
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe live cash streams are just not... Maybe he should do live sit and goes, you know?
I don't want to play him in that. I mean, sure.
Well, no, I'm
whatever.
not
Actually,
for you. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
seems to not be well received on these live cash games.
Yeah.
He sort of fucks the game up. So,
no, he does. He does for sure. And like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say on that. Basically, like, the format of poker that he shines in is dying.
Yeah.
And that is the highly produced tournament kind of recap type of poker, right? And that's largely dying, right? Outside the World Series, we do not see that coverage anymore. WPT is attempting to kind of bring it back a little bit, but I think that they're having a hard time getting a lot of content for the days leading up to the final table. So what you end up seeing is just a bunch of B-roll being kind of like interspliced throughout the final table coverage. And that's a cool concept, but you're not going to get any Hellmuth out of that because you need him mic'd for 8 hours to pull, 2 10-minute blow-up clips. And in order to get those in any scenario outside of the World Series, you need him to make final tables. And he's, a billionaire in training. So it's like he's not grinding the WPT stops. He's not out. I'm trying to think like what other MTTs are getting straight. Like he's never playing Triton. He's not, he talks so much about competing at the highest levels, but what he ignores is that he fucking cherry picks the competition. And he's just playing in Silicon Valley games where, everybody is happy to beat the pro because he's a watered down version of what we consider a pro now. And I'm not taking shots at him as a person, but I am taking shots at his skill sets, right? His greatest skill set is apparently devouring a roast beef sandwich on air. But yeah, like, his greatest skill set is being able to network in such a way that he's against fair competition. He would get eaten alive in Triton. I would get eaten alive in Triton. And
most people would.
Yeah, I'm way better than Phil. I'm sorry. I just am.
There
I
it
just
is.
am. It's like,
We're talking about tournament poker?
I don't
Cash
give a
game
fuck.
poker?
Everything
Hey,
except mixed games.
Phil,
he can have mixed games.
Phil, prove him wrong.
Yeah.
Just prove
I
him
mean,
wrong.
are you going to
That's
let
all you gotta
delusional
do.
Berkey talk about you like
Yeah.
this?
You really
Are
can't
you
let
really?
Delusional Berkey talk to
He
you
said
like
he's just flat out better than you, so just prove him
I
wrong.
mean, hashtag delusional Berkey is going off about you. You're not even going to
Let's get it
wrong.
trending, team. Let's get hashtag delusional Berkey trending on Twitter.
Hashtag delusional Berkey.
I mean, like, look.
I'm here for it.
I haven't, I think there's a big misconception of like how much I spend studying. He made this offhanded comment that like he's watched me like blast off on TV games and that I was terrible at poker, yada, yada, yada. And then he follows it up by saying, but I think he's very good now.
Yeah, you got a lot better.
And it's like, I wish I could explain to everybody that nothing has changed. Like the only thing that has changed is that I have to play. Yeah. Is that like I haven't
The
lost.
narrative that's keeping you out of games.
You make a few less calls on the river.
Do I?
I don't know. I have no idea.
No, I don't. I just don't. That's the thing. It's like nothing has really changed except for I'm not backed any longer. And the standard game that I play in is now tougher than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Right? It's like, yeah, you saw me splash around a lot on Poker After Dark. That's because the lineup I was playing in were the same fucking guys from Ivy's room. And we all VPIP 50% because that was like what you did in that game.
Yeah.
So shit looks funny to the viewer. But it's like if you play a regularly tougher game, then you're going to have to play a little bit more in line. And by in line, I mean I'm still going to have the highest VPIP in the fucking game. Right? Like nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is this narrative that's built around results. It's like, oh man, Berkey had 2 big on-stream wins. He must have gotten really good at poker. It's like, or I was always good and you guys didn't want to see it, or I still suck. And either way, I don't care. Just like, let's stop pretending that there's been this massive evolution, right? And like, with regard to tournaments, it's like, I haven't looked at a fucking tournament spot in maybe ever. I just hate it. I hate everything about it. I hate short stack play. I don't want to memorize ranges for 20 different stack depths.
It is. That part is very annoying.
Yeah, like I don't have it in me.
That's what we have Matt Hunt for the site.
Of course, I'm not trying to champion myself as a MTT coach by any stretch. But like, I see this game through a certain lens. I understand boundaries to some degree, and I flirt with them as best I can. And whatever, like, I don't think I'm a great tournament player. If I did, I would be trying to go to Triton and I would try to compete. I'm the exact opposite of Hellmuth. all the things that he believes to be true about himself, I know are not true about me. And I think I'm better than him in almost all the things that he thinks he's very good at. So like that to me is the big separator. And that's why I think this conversation keeps coming up. But even beyond that, it would die if he just stopped doing shitty things within the four walls of the community. If he stopped saying he was going to burn the place to the fucking ground, if he stopped trying to sell at high rollers at 1.5x markup, if he stopped sitting 12 big blinds deep in a live stream cash game, all of these things are harmful to the community at large. And I understand that they're not harming the Phil Hellmuth brand as, or maybe they are and he's just unaware of it. But to the community that he claims he gives so much of a shit about, and more importantly, to the outsiders who are not a part of this community that only know of him and Negreanu and maybe Antonio, he is absolutely staining what it is to be a professional poker player in today's day and age. And he always has in his behavior, but we've accepted it because he's a character, and I'm cool with characters. Be you, man. That's fine. You want to be an asshole on TV, be an asshole. Like we've made a place for you within this space to be that guy, and we love you and accept you for it. But stop cutting us down in the process. Stop spitting in the face of all the young up-and-comers that would absolutely mop the fucking floor with you in any single format. And I'm not even talking about the guys that are around my age who are all 20 years younger than Phil, like the Galfons and the Coons and the Ikes and the Bonimos, these guys that are just like elite thinkers, right? I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about the Landons and the other young up-and-comers, the Jeremiah Williams.
He would just look at Landon in the face and just fold that ace jack.
Right.
He would just fold that blind versus blind for 10 blinds.
That's the shit that we're talking about, right?
Look him in the face and say, you know what, kid, you don't have you just have it this time.
But that's the shit that I'm talking about, is that like he genuinely believes.
Listen, live tells are a read. Live tells are a thing, but that's not to like. If that's the end all be all of your game, then what are we talking about here?
Yeah, and that was demonstrated in the 3K final table that he made this summer. He embarrassed himself. He got absolutely obliterated time after time after time, folding top pair over and over again versus 8 high, versus queen high. And then like somehow walking away and saying, what, like I was hungry and didn't get my roast beef fast enough?
No, but I mean, if his reads were so spot on, he was just so crisp at everything he was doing, which the white magic or whatever he calls it, then he wouldn't have made those folds. He would have just been shoveling his chips in the middle when he had the best of it.
Yeah, of course, he would have happily beat these guys in.
Yeah.
I mean, do we think it's maybe just not really like that deep, and he's just sort of like had this shtick from the beginning of his poker celebrity, and this is just sort of the like habitually how he operates?
I think it's impossible to be 50 and not evolve to some degree. So yes, I think that's.
You really think so?
I didn't say he has to be highly evolved. I'm just saying, like,
I met some people who act like they're 10 still.
Of course, and that's I think that's a thing. But what I'm saying is that he developed this shtick, so to speak, when he was 25, and actually possibly one of the greatest at that point.
Yeah.
At some point along the path, things will occur that make you second guess yourself, and the fact that he's just been completely unwavering to me.
Right, but it's sort of this marketing thing was sort of trained into him just by nature of like the time that he rose to celebrity. Like,
yeah,
maybe he just sees this as like the way to do it.
Yeah, possibly.
And it works.
He's had success doing it for so long that like it's tough to. He's like, well, I'm the poker brat, and I'm just going to run that poker. I've always been successful.
I'm making the opposite argument. I don't think he actually believes it. I think that somewhere along the lines, 5, 10, 15 years ago, when he realized how much fucking harder poker was getting and how accurate it was that he had regressed to the mean. And, you know, all these young up-and-comers are studying harder, learning faster, understanding deeper, and are just able to kind of run mathematical circles around him. I think at that point, this now became the facade that he had to hide behind. Right. Yeah. Like, I think, I mean, I watched that interview and it's just like a lot of projections of sensitivity and feeling disrespected and feeling like, you know, I can't compete still.
Well, you know, him and Negreanu kind of were at the same place, right? And they chose different paths, right? And it's funny because he brings Negreanu up a lot because Negreanu says he sucks at poker.
Yeah.
But like Negreanu realized that, wow, this game has passed me by, and went into the lab, right? And like Hellmuth's just like, I'm just going to continue to do what I've been doing. I mean, maybe, I'm sure you've worked on his game, but like not to the like.
I don't think Hellmuth like consciously just made a decision to not study. I think he made a decision to go into sort of the Antonio path, where there will always be easy money to make in poker if you curate it. So like his focus became networking within Silicon Valley. You know, he talks about how he's on 15 boards and
likely more profitable than the other route.
Very true.
Right. And it's,
but I think Negreanu truly wanted to be the best, and that's why Negreanu like changed his game, or you know, said, "Wow, these guys are really good."
That's why I said I don't think Phil believes it.
Right.
I don't think he believes his own shtick. Like Negreanu actually has pursued being elite.
Right.
And I think he understands how difficult that is to achieve.
Yeah.
And he has a ton of fucking respect for the next generations, all of them.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like he doesn't talk shit on anybody.
Oh, of course not.
In the youth, whether it's 10 years his junior or 25.
He knows they're wizards, and he's like,
he's very learning, sort of like learning mind.
Yeah.
Whereas Phil would be more of like the fixed.
Exactly.
Type.
Yeah. And Negreanu had some of those moments of demanding the respect because of his poker celebrity. There was a point in his Poker Stars ambassadorship where people were questioning if he could still win. And this is very common, because once you do start playing high enough, you don't really want to challenge yourself at like, you know, the smaller stakes any longer, in spite of the fact that that's oftentimes where the talent pools, because that's where people were really cutting their teeth and building out their future, right? So like maybe a 10-20 pool or 25-50 back in like, you know, 2010 or 11 on Stars was some of the tougher pools. And I remember Negreanu like basically took some time, studied the pool, and the games were just like waitlisted for days when he would sit. But he ultimately did come out a winner. I think that was to him a moment of proving like, I am still on top. I am still the best. Nobody can fuck with me. And the community kind of took it as such to some degree of like, okay, well, like he did prove he could. But then when you fast forward like 5 or 6 years, as we really got deeper into solvers being widely available and things like that, I think he fell kind of into a bit of imposter syndrome, where he realized like, maybe I'm not winning at 500 Zoom, you know? And at that point it was like, well, let me look at my tournament record. Like maybe I haven't been taking this quite seriously enough, because all of these guys are desperate and hungry and they all want to knock me off. And I think that that's something that Phil maybe either lacks the understanding of, or feels it very deeply. And instead of actually trying to, like, maybe he's just accepted, like, I'll never out talent them. So instead I'm going to out leverage my platform. And that's actually pretty sharp.
Yeah.
No, it is.
It is.
Right. For sure.
Yeah. That's actually pretty sharp. What I think gets him all the hate is the way that he tries to monetize his celebrity for very small amounts of money that are just absolutely,
I mean, to me, it's not even
desperate.
that. I just have, like, I had no feelings towards him before just seeing, like, the way he acts at the table. And for me, like, the streamer game was a good example. Yeah. And I just hold professionals and, like, everyone who considers himself a professional to, like, a certain standard of, like, conduct at the table. And I don't feel like, you know, your reputation or your career should give you passes on being a nice person at the table.
Yeah, and I mean, to be clear, like, I don't even necessarily know that nice is the qualifier
or
we have to use, but somewhat
decent.
Respectful. Yes, decent is a good, like, when you know, he claims that like Botez was just fine with him calling her a little chess girl or whatever. It's like,
it's really
you
rude.
could say you could say like she's fine, but like, look at the power dynamic between the two of you.
Yeah.
She has to be fine.
Yeah, she doesn't have a choice.
Right, like it's not like you've left her and you offer literally nothing to this game. Nothing. That game would have been the most watched game in history with or without Phil Hellmuth.
Yes.
Right.
And the only thing that additionally came of it was a bunch of drama where he handled a situation incredibly poorly with the fake fold or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, kind of a demeaning comment to Botez, whether he meant it that way or not.
Throughout the whole time was demeaning.
Right.
And it's like, you're the pro. you don't need to be demeaning. Like, that should show through the way you're playing, but clearly there's something
it's projecting.
you know?
Yeah. But I mean, to some degree, okay, that's his shtick. But the target matters a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not even because Botez is a woman. It's not even because Botez isn't a professional poker player. It's because he picks these targets that don't really have a way of defending themselves.
They're not going to push back.
Right. Like, he doesn't do this to Bonomo.
Right.
Or he doesn't do this to Kuhn or to even me. Like, I've played with him plenty. He would never undress me with words like this. Right. And that's what
it's
I take.
Punching down.
Yes.
It's just.
That's what I take
cool.
such an issue with.
Yeah.
Right. Is like him finding the recreational at the table who seems to be happy to be playing with Phil Hellmuth, and then him putting a bad taste in his mouth by calling him an idiot from Northern Europe.
Yeah.
It's like, these are the things that's like, okay, yeah, we've excused it because it's genuinely you, but now it's becoming a trend where you aren't actually picking fights with the people that you should be. Like, yesterday was an opportunity for him to really fucking come after me and Doug. Like, really put us out on blast, put us on display, call out whatever bad behavior, but you can't, because there hasn't been that much bad behavior. We're not selling at greedy markups. We're not berating amateurs whenever we play with them. We aren't pumping up our stats, claiming something that isn't actually proven. You know what I mean? Like, we're peasants to him that are just out in the arena and battling it out for small change, where he is competing in a much higher a much higher stake game, whether you want to consider that to be tech or commercialism of his own brand, whatever the case may be. Like, clearly the stakes are significantly higher, but he still felt a need to address us, right? So it's like, it's this like weird hedge where he doesn't want to go full on because there isn't a whole lot to back it, number one. And number two, it then just becomes, he could only like take on a personal attack, right? And it's just basically go the route of like, these guys hurt my feelings. And honestly, I think that would be very reasonable. And if I truly have hurt his feelings, I would apologize for that. Yeah. Because that was never the intent. The intent is just to like hurt his ego and like goad him, because I think that he is a ridiculous human being the way that he touts his talents. And if nothing else, like, I would love to get a soft game out of it, right? Like, I'm not hiding any motivations here. He's just somebody that I would want to play poker with often, right? And he's egotistical enough that I have no problems calling that out. There's a lot of other people that I would love to play poker with that are just humble and acknowledge where they fit in the space. And it's like, I would never, ever take this approach with them, because that's just being a dick. Yeah. It's like, those are the people that, if anything, like, you take the opportunities when they present themselves. If they want to play with you, then great. And that's really our job, right? Is to make ourselves somebody that's desirable to play with. And to some degree, Phil's done that for himself, but kind of in a weird, twisted way.
Yeah.
Maybe even a delusional way.
Hashtag delusional.
Hashtag delusional. Get it trending, team. Hashtag fake news Polk.
Delusional Berkey.
Hashtag delusional Berkey.
I mean, does this mean you guys are like allies now, or
me and
fake
Polk?
news and delusional?
No. I mean, not from my perspective. I want Doug to come back and start trashing me. I was a lot richer whenever he did that.
I can start some like rumor. Do you want me to start doing it?
No, I don't think it has the same megaphone effect.
Yeah, maybe not.
I just really need him to come out and tell everybody how bad I suck. Honestly, like when I was going through, and this will kind of speak on Phil too. It's like 2017, like when Doug first started dragging me, it did feel very personal, especially because like the first thing that he put me on blast for was like something that he, and Ryan was somewhat guilty of contributing to this. I haven't really spoken much about it because Ryan and I are good, but when that first high stakes hustler game fell through, they pinned it all on me, in spite of the fact that the entire game crumbled beneath Ryan's feet, right? And like, I wasn't the game runner. And at the end of the day, like 4 or 5 people showed up to play the game.
When was this? Last year?
No, like the end of 2017.
Oh, okay.
The very, very, very first high stakes attempt. So it's funny because it's such a distant, it's such a distant memory.
Yeah.
But prior to Poker Go, there were no streamed games above 2550 ever.
Like 2.5?
No, like 2550.
Oh.
Mostly like $25.50, and then they had like the $5 ante game and stuff like that. Live at the Bike used to regularly stream 510.
Okay. Like
2 or 3 days a week. 510, 1020, $5 ante game, and then like the big game was $25.50 on Fridays. And that was it. Post Poker Go launching, Ryan really pushed it to try to bring in G-Man and start to get bigger games. And they got it up to 50, 100. Like that's where this all originated. So they had Polk week, or maybe it was Upswing week, I don't know. And Ryan had spent like weeks trying to put together. The stakes just kept changing. It was supposed to be 200, 400 with a big blind ante. I don't even recall. Like it bounced around, like the difference between 200, 400, 800, 200, 400 big blind ante, like all of these things, right? But when push came to shove, like the initial game was advertised as like me, Polk, and Fee, and then 5 Rex. And then it became like me, Polk, Fee, Garrett, and 4 Rex. It was me, Polk, and Garrett 5 Rex. Then me, Polk, Garrett, Fee, 4 Rex, and then me, Polk, Garrett, Fee, Jungle Man, and 3 Rex. And then another rec would drop, and another rec would drop, and by the time we got there, it was just going to be like all regs, which is fine, even though that's not necessarily what we all agreed to. It's no big deal, but they still couldn't settle on stakes. Ryan was desperately pushing for it to be the biggest game ever on stream TV, so like really pushing hard for the 2-4. And at the time, like I just lost a pile and didn't have access to liquidity. So ultimately, like the game fell apart. There was only 6 of us left. It was me, Dan Smith, Jungle Man, Polk, Garrett, and I think Fee, but I don't recall. So it was only the 6 of us left on game day. And I'm just like, I can't play 100K minimum buy-in when I only have 100K. And I still remember the text message he sent back to me. He was just like, 100K is plenty. And it's like, well, you don't get to decide that. It's. I promise you, it's not plenty. And so I was like, yeah, like I'm out. And when that happened, Polk went to Facebook Live and Instagram Live and did this like 12-minute tribute to how I ruined the game.
So we need you to do that again so that he'll start on crashing.
Yes, sure. But like the whole point that I'm trying to make is when that happened, I felt like very personally attacked.
Yeah.
Like that felt like I did nothing wrong. I did absolutely nothing.
It was
and
just
now,
not planned. Like
I wasn't the one who like if we're calling a failure, it was Ryan, right? Like he's the game runner, and at the end of the day, like if this happens at Poker Go, it's Brent's fault, right? It's never going to be the player's fault. There will be plenty of situations where you have a lineup in place day of, and a handful of people just fucking rug you, and you as the game runner are responsible for that. Like there's just no shirking that responsibility, right? But Doug and Ryan both like kind of put it on to me, and suddenly like I was the target for all the ire of this big game falling apart, right? And it became like, him and Doug were on this Facebook Live and just basically like trashing me and Josh. I think. I
wish we could get a video of this Facebook Live.
I'll see if I can find it for next show. But basically, there was like one wreck, Josh, who also pulled out last minute. And they were just throwing the 2 of us under the bus, saying like, we're the entire reason that this game didn't go, all this other stuff. And I felt so personally attacked because like, this isn't calling my ability in poker in question or anything like that, right? This is a character attack. And it was an attack against my integrity. And I just remember, kind of tweeting something along the lines of like, look, I'll take full responsibility that I absolutely pulled out the day of. I'm not going to try to shirk this onto anybody else. It is what it is. I didn't bring enough liquidity, and that's on me. And that was it. And it just spiraled for weeks, which turned into months, which turned into like a year and a half of me just getting dragged and this constantly getting brought back up. Meanwhile, like literally either 2 weeks prior or 2 weeks later, I played Jungle Man Week on Poker Out Loud, where it was just 7 pros. It was me, Kuhn, Polk, Jungle, Rast, and Ike, and then one other that I can't recall. It was just like, okay, you really think I'm fucking ducking this game? Like I had $1 million liquidity accessible in Aria. I had 100,000 accessible at the bike. Like there's a big difference here. So I personally felt attacked. And if that's what Hellmuth is feeling now, then I relate to him. And I understand why he feels mistreated and like
misunderstood.
Yeah, misunderstood, and that like, you know, no matter what he says, nobody's actually hearing the points that he's trying to make. Because that's how I felt. I could not compete with Doug's megaphone. So I spent like a year and a half just turning the other cheek and literally just never responding, never really having anything to say as a comeback. Like I was letting him meme all over me and just like kind of ignoring it, with the exception of this. We did do the retirement video.
Oh man.
Which shout out to Pigtails, man.
So
they fucking crushed. They crushed this bit so good.
Oh my god!
You never saw this?
Naked in that?
No.
No, I've seen it.
No, I had pants
I've
on.
seen it.
Can we put a link to that in the description, please? People need to see that.
It was so good, man. It was so good. What are the
cups of pee?
piss cups?
You really committed. You even grew your scruff out.
Oh yeah. I mean, that wasn't really far from how I was feeling at the time, to be quite honest. Like, there was a lot of truth to that bit. So like, yeah, I guess all this got brought up because you asked if like Doug and I were allies now somehow. I understand what Phil is feeling, and I understand how unjustified it can be. Mm-hmm. And that's why I guess like I've always made it a point that when I criticize him, it's very specific to the mechanics of what he's doing, right? It's very specific to charging way too much markup or having this like out of control fucking ego. Like at the end of the day, I'm not saying Phil and I are friends because I don't think he would qualify me as that, and like we're not close in any way, shape, or form. But at the end of the day, I would always want somebody in my inner circle doing that for me. Mm-hmm. And it seems like he just doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Right? Mm. So if you're going to surround yourself with a bunch of yes men and a bunch of bootlickers, like somebody from the outside is going to come and check you.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think that like it's
we
that
check
out of line.
Berkey's ego all the time.
We know. Everybody fucking watching it knows.
It takes a village, you know?
Fun.
It takes a village.
It really does.
Takes a village.
Yeah. That's my true job at Sofa-wise. Checking Berkey's ego. It's a full-time job.
The irony is that Polk put out a character assassination on me for like a year plus. Didn't deter me one bit. I get on a podcast with you guys and I've fucking been I instantly retired from poker. Yep. It's just like, I'm not good at this game. I'm probably not a good human anymore either.
I might have an eating disorder.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody knows anyone who just extinguishes horses for a living, I'd be happy to be taken out behind the barn at this point, you know? What can you do, man? Yeah. Down bad Berkey. Let's get that trending too. Hashtag down bad Berkey.
I'm showered. You're down bad. You know.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
It's only up from here.
That's right, baby.
You know what's up, right?
Bitcoin Latinum?
Nope. It's the CSA time.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
It is a fucking CSA time.
Here we go.
Weekly, every single week at the MGM, your boy Connie's going to be running a 2-5 game with a $5 under the gun ante.
Under the gun
For some
ante.
reason.
Hit me up on social. Maybe you can get a seat.
I got to tell you, man.
It's going to be popping.
It will be popping.
I have to tell you, I think that the fact that you're making the ante under the gun and the fact that you actually have to advertise it that way sounds so stupid.
That it just might work.
Yeah, it sounds so stupid that I think people might actually show up.
Yeah, I definitely
they
think
might
people
think
will show up.
it's actually a difference.
Well, no. I think that like he actually might get some of the worst players in America who just like hear him say that and somehow think he's smart. Of like,
right?
Oh, yeah,
That's genius.
How innovative.
Wow.
How
it's totally different from a big blind ante.
Yeah, way different. You know what it's going to be different then?
The
you know what's going to? The only thing this is going to cause is problems when somebody has to go take a piss.
Yes.
Because now they're either going to stay for their under the gun hand so that they can fucking ante like an idiot.
Yep.
Or they're going to go piss under the gun one and then come back and not know how much money they owe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's going to be confusing.
Yeah.
We'll have they are the blinds and the ante.
They pay the blinds and the ante, so it's going to be.
Well, yeah, but like, what if they come back in the big blind? So what if they piss under the gun and come back in the big blind?
They owe 5.
What do they owe?
They throw the ante in.
So now we have a double ante?
Yes.
So that's what
Yeah. What's wrong with that? Double ante. Let's go. Let's get it popping.
I mean, sure.
You know what? Triple ante.
Sure, the solutions are there, but it's going to be annoying for the dealer and players.
I have full confidence in Conrad.
How many handed is this game going to be? 6?
12.
12-handed.
No more than 8.
No more than 8. I like that.
Okay.
More than 8 is
I think
nice.
it's 8 because I think we can get multiple
good.
tables going.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be
You're going to be working the list.
Will there be atmosphere boys?
there will not be any atmosphere boys.
Where do
Sorry.
people
I
go
can't
to get
tell
on the
you.
list?
They can DM me. That's where you can go on to get on the list.
Oh, okay.
DM me on any social, Instagram, Twitter.
Do they have?
Conrad
Is there a
S411.
requirement? Do they have to send a photo? Or?
You have to be somewhat action. You got to be some fun. You got to be fun in the game. We're gonna be playing some side games. Not 7 deuce. 7 deuce is no fun. We'll be playing
What do
like
you mean it's no fun?
We'll play like a 8-4 off game.
Okay.
8-4 because 8-4 suited is obviously a top 10 hand.
He already told me I can't come.
Yeah, you're not allowed to come to us.
So-
No, we saw
No
Tortoise
Tortoise.
rocket it off a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So wait, how does this work? Is this game private, or once it opens, there's a list
Once
that's
it-
public?
Once it opens, there's a list that's public,
Okay.
so everybody can come.
Okay. So
But,
so
this-
the feeder game is going to be real good.
The feeder game will be fun.
I was being
I
sarcastic.
know.
Seems like
No, there'll probably be a couple tables. Honestly, I got just for today. I got a good 14.
okay.
There you go.
You guys heard it here first. What's the buy-in?
Min max.
We'll do
Are you just deciding it right
I'm
now?
doing it right now, right
Okay.
off the top.
Interesting.
You
Right
know,
off the
16.
top. It's a 5-5 game, so
It's 5-5 now. Wasn't it
or
just
2-5?
2-5?
Yeah, it
Sorry,
was
2-5
2-5.
game. 300 min, no max.
Okay.
That sounds
Uncapped.
fun. Uncapped.
Yeah,
Wow.
I like it.
I like it
Wow.
too.
Wow. I wish you would have put a little thought into this, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
yeah.
it sounds
Listen,
like
it's announced now.
sounds like
so.
this is it.
Listen, I made it up yesterday, and then I just figured it out today.
Yeah, I mean, you have all the makings of a high quality game runner.
I honestly do.
No, I can tell you're super prepared. You're very
None
organized.
of these people are prepared and organized. They show up, they do what they got to do.
You are the well whisperer,
They
so
get shit popping.
that actually could be a thing.
He's going to be there in the game. He's the draw.
That is true. He is
Yeah.
the draw. What time does it start? 6?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m. today, guys. You heard it here first. If you want to head down to MGM on the Strip, Conrad's going to be popping. It sounds like 2 games are going to get going. Begin with. So go ahead and check that out. We have an academy coming up next week. It's going to be on Thursday the 8th until Sunday the 11th, which is the final weekend prior to the NFL kicking off. Although I guess NFL
No.
kicks off Thursday night.
Kicks up, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys are interested, we still have 1 seat left. Poker Out Loud style, as I've always previously mentioned. You can go ahead and hit #Academy for more info on that. Obviously, if you want merch, you can check that out as well. And if you would like to join our Discord channel, go ahead and use that command. I think that's it, man. I don't got a lot more to talk about today.
I think we've covered it all.
I think we have covered it all. Melissa, it's great having you back in studio.
It is.
Thank you.
Perhaps maybe we can work on a whole show tomorrow, just around you.
Sure.
I know you were a little upset that we were calling into question you not being here. And
Yeah.
I think, maybe we have to demonstrate your actual value to
Mhm.
the Only
Maybe.
Friends
Right.
podcast.
Maybe.
I mean, our view, hey, maybe it's Hellmuth, maybe it's Melissa.
I know.
But our views are up like 30% today. That's all I'm saying.
It's probably Melissa.
I would think it's Melissa. I would
Well,
definitely think it's
looks like
Melissa.
I need a raise.
Oh, yeah, no, it was definitely Hellmuth. It was for sure Hellmuth.
I already sent out the checks for this month. So
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're really going to have to start getting you on those thumbnails if you're looking for a raise.
What? The payments for the podcast, not the thumbnails.
No. That's just not how. You're an all-encompassing
I know, you're getting a
5-tool
bargain.
player.
You're getting a bargain.
Well,
You're lucky I don't know my worth.
you wouldn't be entertaining if you did. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. We should be back. Wait, you have a meeting tomorrow, so we can't do normal time?
I have a meeting tomorrow at 1.
Okay, so 2?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
I
think I
mean-
can do.
2:30?
Oh, I have an appointment at 3:15.
Oh, we get
9
to.
a.m.?
Looks like we get to see who's more important.
Well, we know. We know.
So pod at 3 then tomorrow. 3 o'clock pre-show, 4 o'clock or 2:30 pre-show, 3:30.
That works.
Run it.
Yeah.
You come when you can, buddy.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Take a day off.
You can take a day off. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow around 3:30 Pacific time. Please join us then. Not sure what we're going to talk about. We'll see what happens overnight. Thank you guys as always. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are on hashtag delusional Berkey, hashtag fake news Doug. I can't wait to read these ones. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. See you then.
Peace.
Later.